The word paranoid echoed in my ears, a constant grating reminder of my growing unease. Daisy, my wife of 10 years, tossed a word at me like a verbal dart whenever I questioned her late nights at the office. The hushed phone calls, the new expensive perfume she wore that I certainly hadn't bought her. Each time, I swallowed my suspicion, telling myself I was being foolish. After all, Daisy was a woman I'd built a life with, the woman who promised to grow old with me, the woman who laughed with me over silly inside jokes only we understood. Surely, I was just overreacting. But the gut feeling persisted, a gnawing anxiety that tightened its grip on me with each passing day. The late nights became more frequent, the whispers more secretive. My once vibrant, loving wife was now a ghost in our own home, a stranger who occupied the same space but existed in a different world. The breaking point came during our anniversary dinner. Daisy claimed she had a work emergency and canceled our reservation at the last minute. That night, something inside me snapped. I couldn't ignore the glaring red flags anymore. My trust, once a sturdy oak, had been whittled down to a fragile twig. Fueled by a desperate need for answers, I purchased a small, inconspicuous camera and installed it in our living room, a place where Daisy often took her work calls. The guilt gnawed at me. The invasion of privacy, a bitter pill to swallow. But I couldn't live in the suffocating uncertainty any longer. The footage I retrieved the next day confirmed my worst fears. Daisy wasn't working late. She was with him. Emmanuel, our neighbor, the man whose barbecues we attended, whose kids played with ours in the backyard, whose wife I considered friend. The footage showed them intertwined on our couch, their whispers turning into hushed moans, their stolen kisses of betrayal that cut deeper than any knife. The world tilted on its axis. My stomach churned, a nauseating mix of anger and heartbreak. The images seared themselves into my memory, playing on an endless loop. This wasn't a fleeting affair. This was a full-blown, passionate romance happening right under my nose. In my own home. That night, I waited for Daisy. When she walked in, her smile faltered at the sight of me sitting on the couch, the laptop open on the coffee table. The screen displayed a still image from the video. Daisy and Emmanuel locked in an embrace. What is this?" she stammered, her face draining of color. "You tell me, Daisy," I said, my voice dangerously calm. "What is this?" It's not what it looks like," she began, the classic, pathetic excuse hanging in the air between us. "Oh, really?" I asked, pressing play. The video filled the room with the sounds of their illicit encounter. Daisy's eyes widened in horror. She froze, her body rigid as the reality of her betrayal played out before her. The color drained from her face, leaving her ashen and trembling. The smug confidence she'd worn for weeks shattered into a million pieces. The word paranoid didn't leave her lips. I can explain," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Explain what, Daisy?" I asked, the anger finally bubbling to the surface. "Explain how you could do this to me? To us? To our children?" Tears streamed down her face, but I felt no sympathy. "It just happened," she sobbed. "Happened?" I scoffed. "This wasn't a one-time mistake, Daisy. This has been going on for weeks, maybe months, right here, in our house." I closed the laptop, the snap of the lid echoing the finality of our situation. "We're done, Daisy. I want you out." The next few days were a blur of packing, lawyers, and hushed conversations with my children, trying to explain the inexplicable. The pain was a constant companion, a dull ache that settled deep in my bones. But I knew I couldn't wallow in self-pity. I had to act. Emmanuel needed to face the consequences of his actions. I found him in his garage, tinkering with his car. He looked up, a smirk playing on his lips, until he saw the fury in my eyes. The smirk vanished, replaced by a look of unease. "We need to talk," I said, my voice low and menacing. He tried to feign ignorance, but I cut him short. "I know about you and Daisy," I said, my voice dripping with venom. "I have proof." The blood drained from his face. He stammered, trying to form words, but nothing came out. "You're a coward, Emmanuel," I said, my voice rising. "You preyed on a vulnerable woman, destroyed a family, and for what? A cheap thrill." I grabbed him by the collar, shoving him against the wall of his garage. "Your wife deserves to know what kind of man she's married to," I snarled. I pulled out my phone and showed him a screenshot of the video. His eyes widened in terror. I left him there, a broken man, knowing his life was about to implode just as much as mine had. News of their affair spread through our quiet suburban community like wildfire. The whispers, the stares, the judgment. It was everything they deserved. Emmanuel's wife filed for divorce. He lost his job. He became a pariah, ostracized by the very community he once called home. Daisy fared no better. The shame and guilt followed her like a shadow. She lost friends, respect, and, most importantly, her family. The life she had so carelessly thrown away was gone, replaced by the bitter consequences of her actions. Rebuilding my life was a long, arduous process. The pain lingered, a constant reminder of what I had lost. But with time, the sharp edges of grief began to soften. I focused on my children, pouring all my love and energy into creating a stable, loving home for them. The road to healing was paved with tears, therapy sessions, and countless sleepless nights. But I emerged from the ashes, stronger and more resilient than ever. I learned that trust, once broken, can be painstakingly rebuilt, not with the same person, but with yourself. I learned the importance of self-worth, of recognizing red flags, and of never settling for less than I deserve. The experience changed me, undoubtedly. It left scars, but it also gave me a newfound appreciation for honesty, loyalty, and the unwavering power of self-respect. I learned that sometimes the greatest revenge is not inflicting pain, but rising above it, rebuilding your life, and finding happiness again on your own terms. And that, in the end, was the most satisfying revenge of all. So guys, if you all liked today's story, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.